everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host and founder, Jalen Tart, and I'm in a new city. I'm in New York now. Everyone's in school now. Along with me are my guests, Chaz, Xavier, and Joe, who is currently beating COVID and who decided to come on the show today. So fellas, the NFL is slowly approaching. We got 2 weeks left before the start of the season, and it's going to be an NFL-based show today. So, it's been a lot of talk about these teams coming into the season, a lot of spectating, a lot of prediction-wise. Everyone's been having good camps and good preseason so far from what I've been seeing so far and what everyone else on the panel has been seeing so far. So, fellas, who has the most complete team in the NFL heading into this upcoming season? Joe, we're going to start it off with you.
Appreciate it. I think this is a no-brainer for me. Well, it came down to two teams, and I'm going to have to say the Buccaneers. I mean, I just believe they have no holes on their team right now. You got the GOAT as the quarterback. Running back game is pretty strong with Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette, and they added Giovanni Bernard, the best wide receiving core in the NFL, one of the best O-lines in the NFL, good defense, special teams even. Like, they just have no holes. And I just think it was a pretty easy pick for me. I was going to say the Browns as well, but just looking at the Bucs and what they did last year, I just don't see any holes on their team right now. So I'm going to have to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay. Chaz?
Yeah, I got to agree with you, Joe. You took pretty much everything I was going to say. I mean, there's not much more you can say, when you have the best quarterback of all time and just how clutch he is. He's better in the postseason than the regular season,
Mm-hmm.
So you get what you're going to get in the regular season with the best receiving core in the league. And then when it comes down to 2 minutes, if they're within a touchdown of anyone, I take their odds to beat anyone. The only other teams that you could really make an argument for, in my opinion, would be the Browns or the Chiefs. But Baker Mayfield's the question mark there. And because you don't know if their success is because of him or if his success is because of their roster or the Chiefs. But, you saw the Super Bowl. They did work on the O-line, but I still got to give it to the Bucs, until Brady retires. That's his team,
Yeah.
I like the Bucs and I like the Chiefs, but I do have to go with the Browns here. I think Baker Mayfield, the last 7 games of the season, we got Kawhi Leonard joining the call. That is funny. But I have the Browns. I think Baker Mayfield is reaching that second gear as we speak. I think Stefanski is going to help him get to that next level. The last 7 games of the regular season, and including the playoffs, he's looked pretty good. Passing rating was pretty high. You have OBJ coming back along with Jarvis Landry. Also have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who I think one of those two will have 1,000-yard seasons. The player to watch out for is Jeremiah Owusu for the Cleveland Browns, the linebacker that they just drafted from Notre Dame. That is a player to watch out for because he's going to be playing along with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, who I think will have a good defensive front. The Browns do have the number 1 offensive line in the league. There's no way in hell that you cannot make the playoffs with having the number 1 offensive line. I think this team will be a force to be reckoned with, and they'll be a good contending team in the AFC North. It's going to be a toss-up between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns in the AFC North. So I have the Cleveland Browns as a complete team in the NFL.
I love all y'all picks, but if I want to say it, Cleveland Browns will be on my number 3. And it all depends on Baker Mayfield. I'm not doubting him or anything, but I just think that all eyes are going to be looking on him because he's progressing each year. Rick, first year, didn't do so bad. Second year, he's leveling up. Third year, he leveled up more. And this year, he might actually get somewhere. Best offensive line in the league. Kansas City, they have the best offense. Defensively, you can't. They don't have a great defense like Cleveland does. So if we talking about an overall team, Cleveland beats Kansas City. Tampa Bay, I agree, but I also disagree. Offensively, I agree. Defensively, you got David. You got a great secondary. You got Anton Winfield Jr. But the matter situation is, Tom Brady, he's going to lead a team to possibly another Super Bowl, but and we know he's invincible. But I think it's just going to take him one hit to actually retire or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to wrap up on my explanation of who's had the best overall team, I would agree with you, Jalen. I would say Cleveland. Running game is where it's at. Wide receiver, defense, everything is put together. It just all eyes are going to be on Baker Mayfield. It'll be Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Kansas City in that order.
You said that you're iffy about Tampa Bay's defense.
I gotta disagree with that because
Yeah,
they're bringing back their whole team. They literally re-signed their whole team, so there is going to be the same.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
My only thing is they're competing against improved teams that have made big moves in the offseason.
Yeah.
So as long as Tom Brady can stay consistent with his weapons, he's gonna be straight.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next topic. So earlier this week, Travis Etienne suffered a lens track injury in his foot. I know Chaz reacted to this very emotionally because he's a Clemson fan. So fellas, how will Etienne's injury impact Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer's first year in Jacksonville?
Well, I guess I'll go.
You want to go ahead?
All right. Well, I think it's tough for Etienne, and I pray he recovers really, really soon. But I think the running game should be fine for Jacksonville. They still have James Robinson. You know, James Robinson is a pretty good player. But to me, it's gonna take a little bit of time for Trevor Lawrence to get develop more in a way, because he just so used to Travis Etienne, and now since he's gone for the season and he gotta basically learn some new stuff in Jacksonville with another running back, a bad awful line, and a pretty decent wide receiving core, kind of underrated. But yeah, I think it's gonna pretty much not really hurt, because I didn't really see Jacksonville doing a lot of good things this year anyway. But it just sucks for Travis Etienne, because he's a rookie, and we wanted to see him play a little bit. So yeah, it just kind of hurts Travis Etienne a little bit individually, instead of as a whole for Jacksonville, because James Robinson is a decent player.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's really tough. Trevor Lawrence, he just lost a player, that he's very comfortable with, and I think that's the most important part about it. Because they do have James Robinson. It's more so that when you come out of college and you have your running back that you've been playing with for years now, that's like a little a safety net, You know how both you guys play together. But yeah, like you said, I don't know how much Jacksonville would have done this year with Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely will force Trevor Lawrence to have to click with his other weapons and find another guy that he's comfortable throwing the ball to and handing it off to. Which I think James Robinson is good enough to do that. It'll slow down that transition to the NFL a little bit more. And that offensive line is horrible. Watch season games. It's really bad. It's a mess, honestly. No time to throw for any quarterback in that system. But yeah, I don't think it makes or breaks their playoff hopes, because I didn't think they'd probably, be a playoff team anyways. But it does stunt the growth of Trevor Lawrence a little bit, and it'll be up to Urban Meyer to really adjust and be able to scheme in a way that other players are going to be successful.
I agree with you, Chaz. I think to add on to that, it's a big loss because he is I believe that he's a speedster / power back. He can get you those extra yards when you need him to get you those extra yards. And Meyers said in the press conference, I believe this early in the week, their ideal goal is to run the football. He wants his backs to run the football. I think this will slow down the process of Lawrence to get into the system of being an NFL quarterback. We've seen in the preseason of him struggling. I think that starting off in this first part of the season, he's going to struggle against teams that are way better than him. They just have from top to bottom, the roster is just completely terrible. One of the worst rosters in the league, along with the New York Jets, in my opinion. But I think once he starts to get that groove, he will start to get better. So I'll give him to the second part of the season for him to get better. But it's a big loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville, like Joe said, I don't see them going anywhere. They weren't going anywhere from the start. Urban Meyer, this is new for him. Because you retired, per se, and you're only like 53 from college football. Then you went to another level into the NFL. So, and then with Travis Etienne, that's a big loss. But we kind of knew that Jacksonville weren't going anywhere because they in a rebuilding stage. Because you draft him. I mean, you got first overall draft pick with Trevor Lawrence, and then you got Etienne from Clemson as well, his teammate. And everybody was like looking like this is about to be a dynamic duo. But now you kind of lost your first string, second string running back. Now you gotta you can trust James Robinson, but then with the passing game, you kind of don't have nobody because DJ Clark is not going to be available until later on in the season, probably like third, fourth game, something along those borders. So that hurt among Clemson fans, among Jacksonville Jaguars fans, but we kind of knew that they wasn't really going to go anywhere because they're still rebuilding.
And this, I think, it will kind of be like how Ben Roethlisberger was when he didn't have a running game. We're going to see more of Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball more, but he just has to get it off a little bit quicker. If he gets it off a little bit quicker and he's more efficient throwing the ball and getting those yards, he will be fine. He has a big arm. He's tall, great IQ. I think he'll be fine. He just has to get used to the style of play in the NFL.
Take time.
We're gonna move on to a slightly new segment called Quick Prediction, where we predict every division, every conference of whatever sport league. What y'all would say? So we're gonna do the NFL division. We're gonna do the AFC and the NFL. So we're gonna do the AFC East. Who do you have winning the AFC East from top to bottom? I'll go first. I have the Buffalo Bills, 12-5 record. In second place, I have New England with 10-7. McDermott and Josh Allen are going to have a remarkable year. I think Josh Allen will be in the running for MVP this year. Brian Flores and Bill Belichick will duke it out for the second place finish. I have New England because with the experience of Cam Newton and Mac Jones and you bringing back the entire defense that opted out for COVID, that's going to play a big factor. I think they're going to have a strong start knowing that they had a disappointing finish to last season of them not making the playoffs. It will give them some hope. I think Miami will come out and be a juggernaut team. But it all depends. But all three of these teams are well coached. Well coached. Robert Saleh to me will have the most difficult time in the NFL, but he will get it. He will find a way to get it right. I think Zach Wilson will struggle like Trevor Lawrence, but will find rhythm in the second half of the season. So I have in the AFC East the Buffalo Bills winning the division.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing with Miami, either being second or third, comes down to Tua, and if he takes a leap, and can actually put up numbers rather than manage the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to that. It's up to Tua to get that wild card spot, or the Patriots. But I think Buffalo's a pretty safe lock. You know,
Yep.
If Josh stays healthy, which he has so far, I think they're top 5 team in the league. You know, no reason they shouldn't steamroll this division.
Agree.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with the Bills being first. I mean, no question about it. But I got Miami second. I see them going about 9-8 or 10-7. Then I got New England third, going 8-9, and the Jets obviously fourth.
Yep.
Going about 5. I'll say either 4-13 maybe, or 5-12. But I really do see Tua taking that leap. I've been high on Tua ever since last year when I seen him play, and I see what he can do. So now Jalen Waddle was hurt right now, I believe. But he do have Will Fuller as well, which is another weapon that he can throw to.
Mm-hmm.
So and Devontae Parker, and Gesicki, whatever the tight end last name is. I just think that Miami will finish second, and New England going to finish third, and Jets fourth, as Buffalo will win the division.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead, Xavier.
Buffalo first. New England second. I believe that if Cam's a starting quarterback, he will have a redemption year, because I believe you come back from injury and you still got it in a sense. I don't believe the first year you're not gonna do so well, but the third year you come back from an injury, then you're actually gonna have your groove. So I feel like he's gonna have a redemption, revenge tour type year. Miami will be third, but won't be behind as much to New England. But New England's defense is going to overpower Miami. But it just depends on Tua. All eyes are going to be on Tua, Tagovailoa. And then you got, I think, Xavier Howard opted out. So it's you lost a pretty big factor to your defense. Yeah, and then New York, I'm not going to go with New York. New York just being – the Jets are just the Jets right now.
They have the right coach. They just need to draft players. They got to draft players to build on Zach Wilson. They got the right coach to me.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you said you had Miami. Yeah. You had Miami second?
Yeah, I have Miami second.
I wanted to go there, but that's hard. That's very hard. I got to see what Tua can do. I got to, like I said 2 weeks ago, give me time. Give me till Thanksgiving on the Miami Dolphins. Give me till Thanksgiving. But those 3 teams in that division, that's going to be very interesting from what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. So we're moving on to the AFC North. They got the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cincinnati Bengals. I have the Cleveland Browns first place, 11-6. Like I said earlier, Mayfield will reach that second gear with Stefanski and make the playoffs again.
11-6.
11-6. And I had the Baltimore Ravens second, 10-7.
I would say more than 11 games.
Yeah,
that's tough. It's a tough.
I'll say 13.
That is a division too.
You can't 7 games to win that division.
That's like the NFC East. That was like the NFC East last year.
It's hard because I would go with the Ravens because Lamar Jackson does win 80% of his games. I could go with that, but I gotta see how. But I have to see how he can perform with weapons. Can he show me that he can throw the ball and run? Throw the ball to multiple targets. We've seen that he can throw the ball to the tight end Mark Andrews. We've seen that. But can Sammy Watkins be healthy? Can Xavier, help me out. You're a Ravens
Wait,
receiver.
You talking about Marquise Brown? Marquise Brown.
Hollywood Brown, and Sammy Watkins.
Hollywood Brown, Rashard Bateman, Tylan Wallace.
Right, all of them. You have an offensive core. Can you be consistent with an offensive core? That's really what I was trying to say. But the Steelers, they're in the rebuilding stage. I think Najee Harris will have a great season with a bad O-line. But
wait, how they got a bad O-line?
Their O-line.
Yeah, I don't think they're rebuilding.
Their O-line's not terrible.
I wouldn't say they're rebuilding.
They're not bad.
I just see that there is. I think it's deteriorating from what I've seen last year. It's not up to par, and I've seen it.
I think
it's gotten better in the preseason. But can it stay consistent? That's my question mark for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati, I need to see how Joe Burrow can bounce back from the injury. I have them 6-11.
Accurate.
That's fair, yeah. I think the Steelers, it just depends on I wouldn't say they're rebuilding until Ben retired. It's not a rebuild till they cut ties with Ben. Because I think they assume that he's good enough to lead them to a Super Bowl, which I think is delusional, but that's besides the point. I think it's a toss-up between Baltimore and Cleveland. It's really tough because Cleveland is a more talented team, but like y'all said, Lamar Jackson wins 80% of his games, and I don't know how much I trust Baker Mayfield yet. There's a lot of clashing personalities on that team, and I think it could go downhill quick. I'm not saying they would lose every game, but I could see them at a point where tempers are flaring and they're fighting for a wild card. And it's purely personality type of thing. It's not the talent. It's just they have to mesh as a unit. So I think for now, you got to go with Baltimore, but I think Cleveland will be right behind them. And then between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, there's not much you can really say. Joe Burrow tore his, he blew his knee out.
Yeah.
So, and they have a horrible O-line. It's not his fault. And then, Pittsburgh, I don't see him doing anything crazy. I think their window to win is closed, and I think they'll be average for a year or two.
Yeah, so talking about my division. For my division, not being biased as a Ravens fan, I have Cleveland winning that just barely over Baltimore. Baltimore's going to get that wild card spot, like was. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Cincinnati, you're in the rebuilding stage. You need an offensive line, for God's sake. You got a defense.
I think Cincinnati will be competitive. It will be a competitive 6-11 team. But
they're going to be competitive. They're going to be a competitive sorry team. That's right. Real. And Pittsburgh, they got to cut ties with Big Ben, like Chad said, and start Dwayne Haskins, because Mason Rudolph, man, Lord have mercy.
I got a guest.
Oh,
you got John Gary.
What's up? What's up, Gary?
What up, mate? So I'm hearing the topic of conversation is who's going to win the AFC North, and that's going to be the Cleveland.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I got Cleveland Browns too, but I'm going to disagree with some of y'all because y'all was saying how Steelers is not going to do as much.
Here we go.
As long as Mike Tomlin is the head coach, the Steelers will always be in the playoffs, and that's just going to be that. And as long as Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to win the division. Cleveland is winning that division, and I see them going 13-4, while Baltimore will be 11-6.
12-5.
And then I do believe that the Steelers will still make the playoffs as 10-7, but they're gonna make like a wild card spot. Like if three teams of the AFC North can make the playoffs last year, I believe they can do the same thing this year. And Cincinnati, I just don't doing anything.
That's fair.
Good point.
Yeah, that AFC North is about to be.
Like I said, it's not that the Steelers are rebuilding or they're bad. It's just that they have other two teams that I believe that's just better. But you have to realize that Mike Tomlin is still the coach, and and he haven't missed the playoffs in his whole 15 years of coaching on that team.
Never had a losing season.
He missed it 1 year, didn't he?
Yeah, never had a losing season. So that's why I got Cleveland first, Baltimore second, Pittsburgh third, but all three of them will make the playoffs, and Cincinnati just fourth.
I think that's the most. The AFC North to me is the most competitive division in the AFC.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna move to the AFC South, which I think this is the most tossed up division in the AFC. You have the Colts, the Titans, the Texans, and the Jaguars. I have the Colts 11-6.
Don't be biased.
I have the Colts 11-6, and I have
the division.
I have the Colts winning the division.
11-6, and they're winning the division.
I have
11 games.
getting a wild card, getting a wild.
Well, okay. I see why. But
because you got to think about it. Carson Wentz is out. I'm not sold on Jacob Eason. Eason has a big arm. I understand that.
But you got them winning the division?
I have the Colts winning the division.
You got to be kidding me.
I have the Colts winning the division. I'm not. Okay, here's why. The Titans, Arthur Smith was a big part for that team. He's gone to Atlanta. So I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on Tannehill. I'm not sold on Tannehill.
Dude,
I'm not sold on Tannehill. I'm not sold on Tannehill.
Jalen, if I wasn't sick, you're gonna make me sick. Now let me tell you something. You can't win that division winning 11 games. It's not going to happen. You got the Tennessee Titans in that division. Yes, their defense is not as good, but look at their offense. You got
Derrick Henry.
You got the play action king in Ryan Tannehill. You got the best running back in Derrick Henry, AJ Brown, Julio Jones. I mean, it's a new set. It's a new start for Julio, and I think he'll be just fine. And you got AJ Brown.
I'm about to look up their schedule.
And you're just gonna say, okay, the Colts gonna win the division with only 11 games to win? Like, no, you can't win 11 games.
I'm about to look at this. Okay, so let me look at the schedule. So they open against the Cardinals. That's a win. They play Seattle. No.
The Titans, right?
Yeah, the Titans. The Titans play Seattle. No. The Colts at Tennessee. Yes. The Jets. Yes. The Jaguars. Yes. The Bills. No.
They might not win against that.
Okay, the Chiefs.
But that's already 5-1.
That's 5. They're 5-2. Now it's about to be 5-2. 6-3. They play the Rams, then the Saints, the Texans, the Patriots, the Steelers. Iffy games is the Steelers, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Saints, the Rams, the Chiefs, and the Bills.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Colts are gonna have a schedule though.
The Colts ain't
the Colts. Okay, with the Colts, we're playing 4 out of the 5 teams they make the playoffs. 4 out of the 5 teams they make the playoffs. I'm about to look at the schedule now.
But bottom line is Tennessee has a SEC. They have an SEC type offense because Tannehill went to A&M. Henry and Julio Jones with the Bama, right?
I'm gonna say this.
AJ Brown with Ole Miss.
I will revise it after week 2. I will revise my standings after week 2.
You can't win that.
I will revise it after week 2.
You just can't win the division winning 11 games. I'm sorry.
Give me
the Colts. Listen, Tennessee. Let me just tell you something. Tennessee is winning that division, and I mean, Tennessee just going to win the division. But I do have y'all second, Jalen. I do have y'all second.
Okay.
With Jacksonville third, Houston fourth. Well, it depends on Houston because I don't know if Deshaun Watson.
Houston's a mess. Houston's a mess. I have Jacksonville third.
You just can't win the division.
Okay. The Colts do have a defense. Yes, they have a. That's the only. That is the only reason why I say that, because even if the offense is not going to be good, without Carson Wentz, I am sold on the defense. That's going to
be a toss up on the division though. It's going to be It's gonna be Indy's defense, and then it's gonna be Tennessee's
offense. I
Well,
don't know.
Tennessee
I
does not have a
don't know.
defense.
But
Tennessee
Jalen,
does not have a defense.
But Jalen, y'all had a defense last year with a more. I'm going to say Phillip Rivers is better than Carson Wentz. With a more experienced quarterback last year. So why couldn't y'all win the division last year if defense was just so tops?
I agree.
Like y'all should have been going with that division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Carson Wentz is going to do good in Indianapolis, but I just don't see y'all winning the division. I mean, I just think it's no, you're not.
You see
The
wild card? You see the Colts making the wild card?
Okay, I see
that's reasonable.
Wild card, but y'all not winning that division.
Even if we don't win the division, I will take us winning the wild card. I'll take us getting in the wild card. I don't mind until this. I may be wrong. That's why we're making the predictions now, because Joe, you might be right, and you will laugh in our faces later and tell us I understand that because it's been proven. But
I'm listening to Joe, bro. I haven't been listening to Joe in a minute.
Right. I mean, but
that can back me up on too.
No, I
have to see if the AJ Brown and Julio Jones connection is really like that. I have to personally.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's the only downfall.
That's the only downfall.
But that's the thing, because like Julio is like a great receiver and everything. My bad, Joe, but Julio's a great receiver, but he hasn't done much. I mean, in a sense, he's been getting yards and he's been getting 50-50 balls, but he hasn't taken his tail to the end zone like that.
But Zay, he's in a better situation now. Like he had the best running back on his team with the uprising
play action
with the uprising.
Yeah.
Top 10 wide receiver who can be top 10 in the NFL for years to come in the future. So Julio basically don't have to do as much as he did in Atlanta because it was basically just him. But now he got Derrick Henry and AJ Brown, like I said, an upcoming wide receiver who could be top 10 in years. He don't really have to do as much.
So let me ask you guys this: is Julio Jones a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now?
Not top 5, but
no.
Like
if we basing off of last season, I would say no.
Yeah, no. He's not.
No. But you look at it.
Top 10.
Tennessee was all Derrick Henry. That's what everyone said that they're
down. And that's another thing. I think the Titans are so focused on Henry. They're reliable on Henry having the ball way too much.
Yeah,
and if they do that, it's gonna.
But now adding Julio, you can't really. It's not predictable as it was last year because
imagine that play action. Like what are you
play action
when you go to hand it off to Derrick Henry? Everyone thinks you're gonna run it. You pull back. You have Julio Jones and AJ Brown going down the field.
Right.
Derrick Henry coming out the back.
I mean, you got 2 strong receivers all the way down there. You got AJ Brown who's sitting at 6'1", but he's like over 200. Now you got Julio who's 6'3", 220. I mean, but like I said, it's like, and they all came quarterback, running back, and both your receivers. All 4 of them came from SEC schools, where the SEC is arguably the hardest.
Now, I will say this too about the Colts. They do have Jonathan Taylor and Nakeem Hines, who had 1,000-yard rushing years. Now, but it's I don't know. It's gonna come down between the Titans and the Colts.
But you're not going to win that division with only winning 11 games. I just don't see that. I just don't see that at all.
So basically, if you got 2 running backs who had so I just did a math. So if you sitting at 1,000 yards in a 16-game season, you basically averaging almost 63 yards per game.
That's Derrick Henry is 63 times.
He will be the leading rusher once again. Derrick Henry will be the leading rusher in the NFL this year.
Well, honestly, don't. I mean, maybe. Well, yeah, maybe he will.
Okay.
Because he still got.
I don't think he for that.
And
have to.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick question before we leave. Yes or no, fellas? Should Mac Jones start over Cam Newton for Week 1? Yes or no?
No.
I think you start Cam.
I say Cam. for experience. I think Cam has more experience. He's in the second year of this offensive system, and he'll.
I
Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, my bad. I think that this is Cam Newton's last chance with New England.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones has put a lot of pressure on him, and Mac looks good. So part of me wants to say yes, he should, but that's not giving. I feel like you need to try Cam Newton one more year to see if the whole thing actually is legit. So I guess no, but it's a really, really like thin ice.
I feel
kind of. If they go down like they're like 1-3, 1-4, I mean, those fans are gonna be mad and they're gonna be calling for Mac Jones. So
next week, guys, we're gonna